Hi, everybody. We have another panel, because that's this type of day. You're going to hear about some more impact. So the next panel is made up of folks who talk about addressing the tech skills gap in our local community. And we're going to talk with some programs that are doing just that in really intentional ways. So I want to welcome to Ann. You have a master moderator as well here with Terry Ann Brown. The Miami Tech Works team, by the way, like, moderating is not their job, but that is definitely like an amazing talent. Way to go, Johannes and Kevin. So this next panel is going to be moderated by our grant director, Terry Ann Brown, and it's going to include Julie Vallejos, who's the executive director of INIT. And if you're looking for student talent and don't know INIT, you should go talk to her and get INIT. Steve Lewis, who's the executive director of technology, and he does all kinds of other types of stuff at FIU's College of Engineering and Computing. Nimi Arunchalam, who's the program director for Breakthrough Tech, which is a program that focuses on getting more women into tech careers. Welcome to the stage, y'all.
So I actually love moderating. I feel like in the past life, this was really my calling. So I love it. I'm excited to host this panel because every time I sit in on one of our Tech Skills Gap working group sessions, I love the data that we talk about. I love the message that we talk about. So I'm excited to host this. If you all could please go down the line, I'm going to start with you, Julie, and just talk a little about who you are and what you do.
Hi, everyone. I am the executive director of INIT, a nonprofit organization that was created by computer science students from FIU that now help underrepresented communities and students achieve success and careers in tech.
Hi, thank you for having me here. Good morning, everyone. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm going to fake it till I make it. My name is Nimi Arunachalam. I'm the director for Breakthrough Tech Miami, housed at the Knight Foundation School of Computing and Information Sciences at FIU. We started this work a couple of years ago. We are funded in part by Melinda Gates through her foundation and Cognizant Foundation. Our goal and mission is to grow women and other minoritized students in computing. So a grand goal, we want to graduate 500 women per year by June 2027. I hope you'll all pray for us.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Lewis. I'm Executive Director for Technology for the College of Engineering and Computing. That's a mouthful. In addition to all the work I do in technology, the hat that I'm wearing here today is really industry relations, is to try to find ways to connect industry members with our faculty, find opportunities for our students to get internships, full-time positions, and really open the door for both our College of Engineering and our Knight Foundation School of Computing, which, by the way, has over 4,000 computing students, 60 faculty, and this is a very open environment. We are very friendly. We don't bite. Please knock on our door. We'd love to have industry members come and observe what our students are doing and also give us feedback.
Thank you. So Julie, I'm going to start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about how has INIT through UPE historically addressed the tech skills gap, and how are you thinking about it now?
Sure. So INIT was born from Upsilon Pi Epsilon, which is a computer science honor society. And the students were looking for additional resources or additional skills that they weren't attaining following their formal curriculum and their learning theory and learning what they were losing in class. So they decided to create an organization outside of the honor society to see how they could help their own community learn collaboratively all the tech skills that they weren't able to put into practice or to put into a hands-on experience in their academic experience. So they created this immense community of students who worked with other organizations and companies and mentors and alumni that would help them bring in workshops and hands-on learning experiences and everything that they could, so they could not just learn textbook, but also put into practice what they were learning in class. So as of now, we are growing our chapters not only from FIU into other schools. So we have 3 chapters here at Miami-Dade College. We're moving into the University of Miami. We're a pin closer to Florida Memorial University and hoping to expand broader so we could create more chapters like our FIU chapter so they could continue to help more and more members create this immersive, hands-on learning, collaborative learning experience with our students.
Yeah, and so for those of you that are new, I like to always share a little bit about my background and my story and always tie it back to why Miami Tech Works and the Tech Talent Coalition is really important. I was probably one of those students that needed an in-it way back when I was a computer science major, freshman year of college, probably one of only 2 female in a C++ class, and then eventually dropped that class because I did not feel like I belonged there. I was getting a C minus, and I was like, wait a minute, is computer science for me? And I dropped out. But if I've had community around coding, around computer science, I probably would have stayed in it. So in it. Yeah, see
you
what I
are
did
in
there?
it.
See what I did there? So yeah. So when I look at in it, I really see the opportunity for students to be retained in their technology career pathway. And a lot of what we hear sometimes is that there are students that if they don't see themselves being reflected in a successful career path, they'll drop out, especially when it comes to technology careers. So super excited to have you all as a partner.
Thank you.
Nimi, that gives me a great segue to talk about what you guys are doing with your sprintership program. And I'm just going to give you a big plug because the latest news is you got 25 students placed at American Express. So I'm going to give you a segue now to talk about what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to Init. By the way, I make this bad pun all the time with students. Init, we're in it. So they're still not sick of it yet. But Terry, and I want to quickly say, so you could have used Breakthrough Tech as well, because one of the things we do at FIU is to find a community for our students, not just women, but any student who feels the need for that community. And I think the crowd here will agree that in computer science, you need that community. It's really hard to make it in this field without relying on each other. So having said that, you talked about Sprinternship. Yeah, so Sprinternship is a micro-internship opportunity. It's a paid one. I think Paul, in the previous one, the panel, he mentioned that we should end free internships. So definitely, I echo that. And I think it was, Alberto, I think said students are not really sure where they're going to go to get this experience, right? So Sprinternship is an answer to this. Students will be placed in teams of 3 to 5 students. They get paid for their work, and they work on a challenge project with the employer. And it's not a challenge project like what you would do in a classroom, which has a highly theoretical tone to it. This is a business challenge that's faced by the organization, and the students are actually bringing you fresh insight and giving you their perspective and solving this problem for you within 3 weeks. And I know there's a lot of skepticism as to what can be done in 3 weeks, so I really want to echo the American Express story. They took 33 of our students last year, majority women, and 25 of them got return offers. 9 of those 25 were full-time offers. And I have to say there were women and first-generation students in the 9 that got full-time offers. Yeah, so and I was only joking when I said pray for us. You could pray for us, but you could also host our Sprinterns. I think that would be even better. And we're really eager to work with any employer here, whether you're a nonprofit, government. In fact, MDC-IT, the IT department of the county, they took one team last year, and they were so impressed, they're going to come back for more. And I heard UKG is in right here, so UKG signed up. They are going to be hosting a Sprinternship team for the first time. And Blackstone has signed on. So we have big names, but we want names that are from nonprofits, government. And in fact, FIU is hosting Sprinterns. So we all have business challenges. We want to give our students this opportunity to get that experience that they really need in order to get into the industry and be super successful employees.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what you've heard so far for the day is micro internships, short-term projects, sprinternships, short-term internships, but it does allow for students to build their portfolio, get as much real-world experience as possible. And I'm just going to tie that back into what I said earlier. It's a two-sided marketplace that we're looking at, giving businesses the opportunity to engage early and often with talent, but also giving students the opportunity to build up their capacity as well. So with that, I'm going to transition now to Steve. And Steve, can you talk a little bit about how is FIU and the Knight Foundation Computer School of Science, how are you viewing the tech skills gap, and what are you doing, what programs are you creating to address it?
Yeah, thanks, Terry. So basically, we are accredited for computer science, IT, and cybersecurity. So we have a continuous improvement process that solicits information from our alums, from employers, and from our recent graduates. Basically, that input goes back into improving courses, improving course outcomes, eliminating courses that aren't relevant, introducing new courses that are designed to meet the employer's needs. So that's like the traditional flow. But what's really interesting now at FIU is that we have micro-credential capability. We have a micro-credential office, and this office now has a catalog, I think, of almost over 100 courses that allow for very specific skill development. So long story short, we've introduced within the school a Tech Talent Academy that has allowed us to onboard these micro-credentials. And our first micro-credential is Software Development Internship Ready. And the intent with this is to give students essentially a mini internship experience. We've invited Microsoft, GitHub, and local companies like Assurant to come in to mentor our students, as well as allow them to work on an open source project. I think you've always maybe heard this problem, maybe you remember this problem when you were in college. You go to an employer, you say, well, I don't have any experience, and then they say next. So the idea basically is, how do you solve the chicken and the egg problem? We think the egg here is open source. We think that introducing our computing students who are programming capable, allowing them to work on either large scale or small scale open source projects is a great way for them to get introduced to the developer community, as well as get feedback from professionals from around the world on what it is that they're developing. So instead of just developing a simple project that you stand up at a demo day and say, look what I built, we think there's more value in, as a community, allowing that student to understand how development actually happens. And so we strongly encourage companies who want to participate in this process to come up and talk with us. We're the experiential learning team from FIU. There's a booth over there. Alina, you can raise your hand in the back there. So she'll be happy to help you understand a little bit more about what we're doing in this space. But I think more importantly is just allowing you to think about how your engineers can connect with emerging talent, as well as what are some of the open source projects, tools that you leverage. I mean, the entire internet is built essentially on open source, or leverage it in some way. So I'm sure there's some open source in your company that connects and would be a great proving ground for you to identify emerging talent.
Thank you, Steve. And so you used a word there that I want to touch on very quickly, is that mentorship piece. And so I'd like for each of you, well, you just addressed it, but I'd like for Julie and Nimi to address how important is it for mentorship in the programs that you all are doing, and what can we say to the employers in the room about that mentorship component?
Well, I would say you're like a role model. You're a person who is serving as the representation of what these students want to be. You're directly immersed in the profession, and they need all the guidance that they can get. Our students love to meet with those who are actually doing what they want to do. So if you have the time to mentor them, talk to them, look over their resume, go over soft skills, that's huge, with them, and guide them towards the right internship or the right, interview skills that they need, that's worth it. Its weight in gold, to be honest.
I think mentors can short-circuit the time that students take to learn and master concepts. So when you talk about skills gap, right, there's two kinds of skills gaps. You have the technical skills gap, and I call it the experience skill gap. So mentors can help with both. In fact, I started giving a shout out to Init. I guess you're all wondering why. The Amex story would not have happened if not for the student mentors from Init. Because we all know that what students learn in the classroom and what the industry expects, completely different, right? So who are these students who are actively seeking to upskill themselves? The ones who are looking for jobs or internships. And I can tell you, students don't wake up until their third or fourth year. By then, it's too late. Like, you can't run the marathon when you just started training a week ago. You need to be building this muscle from year one. So student mentors from Init, they ran technical upskilling workshops for 24 hours. That was over 4 weeks. And so without that upskilling, our students would not have been able to go and show Amex that they could hit the ground running with 3 weeks is such a short time. There's no time to realize on day one, oh, I needed to know this. So they went and prepared. And without the student mentors, they could not have done that. And then they came back different people. They walk different, they talk different, the confidence. And I think the big difference was the people they met at not just American Express, MDC-IT, all of the employers who were interacting with the students, they got a perspective that they've never seen before. And as educators, and I'm a former high school educator, I could never give that to the classroom. You could try your best, but unless you really go work in an office environment, you're never going to know what things that you're not supposed to do and what are some good things that you have, your capabilities. So the confidence building can come from mentors, whether it's peer mentors or mentors from the industry.
Steve, I know that you addressed it previously, but anything you would add to the mentorship component?
I think the reality is that in a traditional classroom setting, students already know the game and they know how to keep the professors happy. And, so I think what the mentors do, especially engineers who have had experience internally to their companies to mentor other talent, is it gives them a really strong real-world flavor, something that the students have never seen before. Minimi mentioned the word confidence. That's a big word that we're using in the academy, is to start building confidence in your skills and also figure out what your voice is. A lot of our students, because they haven't had to defend their code in front of other developers and explain why, what was their reasoning, you get that blank. So we wanted the mentors to work with the students to help them get over that blank, that fear, but also to build up the muscle memory necessary so that it just rolls right off the tongue. They feel like thoroughly connected with their ideas and what they're trying to express with code.
Thank you. So one final thought or question from the group with the prompt of what are you most excited for when it comes to the tech talent pipeline? Because you all are in it. See what I did there? So what are you most excited for?
I get the most excited every time I hear about a student landing a job or an internship. That makes my heart eyes, emoji heart eyes, come out so much. I worked at FIU for 8 years, and now Init brought me on. And every time I hear a success story of a student landing a job, or I work at Google, or I work at Kaseya, you're like, yes, you're in it. Yes, like you did it. So that is one huge thing. And just making more Init members, bringing more people in it. I'm looking forward to it.
So within FIU, we all work very closely with each other. Like I worked with Julie, with Steve, with Alina. So because we have to work with each other, right? But until the Tech Talent Coalition started, I was not looking outside of FIU. I mean, we were knocking on employers' doors, but knocking as sole individuals. We didn't have a story that was powerful enough or strong enough or even convincing enough. But I recognized so many faces in just 1 year. And I have to say, during all of those Zoom meetings, I'm busy looking everybody up on LinkedIn, connecting with them, and I've had so many meetings with amazing people. And I think it brings us closer. I think if it is an ecosystem, then you can't just have boundary from you to everybody else. We all have to form a matrix of, it's a network of links between all of us. And I think that's what defines an ecosystem. This is necessary. Somebody in the previous panel mentioned Silicon Valley. So we want to be Silicon Valley. It's not enough if we just say that. We have to connect with each other. I think that's step one. So I think this coalition is definitely, I would say that's the first thing that's super successful. I know you have other plans for year 2, but I would say year 1 is a resounding success. I feel super well connected. It doesn't mean they've all signed up for internships, but then that's our, we have to go convince all of you, but it seems like you've laid the groundwork.
Well, first, I would like to thank Alberto Delgado, Terry, and the Miami TechWorks team for all the work that they have done to bring this community together. It's been really, really needed for many years, and to be able to actually see it in fruition and seeing the machinery that's being built and the connections and the relationships, it's amazing. So, I mean, I really suggest for all your employers that if you're not finding value, please come up to us and we will help you find value in this consortium. And we really want you to reach out to your colleagues and other companies and invite them to come here. Guys, there's thousands of students, computing students amongst all our institutions, amongst all of our organizations that we are training at for multiple career pathways. There's enough. Right? Taking a line from Heat Culture, I'm a Heat fan, Coach Spo, there is enough. We have enough to build this community, but we need everybody in it to win it.
See how we get you there?
Yeah. Thank you all so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.